Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. If you are looking to just completely transform your everyday meals with barely any extra effort, you are in the exact right place today. We're going to explore a really incredible culinary trick, cowboy butter seasoning. Let's see how this simple concept packs such a massive amount of flavor.
Okay, let's dive into this. The source material describes this as a bold blend that elevates butter and spreads with flavor. And you know, that single sentence perfectly sets the premium, problem-solving tone for what we're actually making today. We aren't just making some basic, run-of-the-mill condiment. We're crafting a high-impact seasoning designed specifically to elevate rich dairy bases. It's a bold promise, for sure, but as you'll see, the specific combination of ingredients absolutely delivers on it.
So here's our roadmap for the masterclass today. First, elevating dishes with bold flavor. Second, the 12-ingredient master blend. Third, crafting the cowboy butter. Fourth, whipping up cowboy cream cheese. And finally, serving, pairing, and storing.
Let's kick things off with part 1, elevating dishes with bold flavor.
We've literally all faced this tragic problem, right? You have a perfectly cooked but completely uninspired, bland meal sitting in front of you. Well, we aren't just looking at a standard recipe today, we're figuring out how to rescue those dinners. By understanding exactly how these dry ingredients work together, you can take a simple list of pantry staples and transform them into a captivating culinary journey. It's going to breathe whole new life into your standard weekly dinners.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 12-ingredient master blend.
We have to start with the aromatic base, which is this really powerful foundation of herbs and alliums. First up, you need 2 tablespoons of dried parsley. That gives it that classic herbaceous note. Then you bring in the alliums, 1 tablespoon of dried minced chives, 1 tablespoon of dried minced garlic, and 1 tablespoon of dried minced onion. When you stack all these together, this exact ratio builds a savory, robust, and slightly sweet foundation that's going to just seamlessly permeate the fat of the butter or the cream cheese later on.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the spices and balancers category, because this is where the absolute magic happens. You've got 2 teaspoons of crushed red pepper flakes, and obviously you can completely adjust this to your own taste, plus a teaspoon each of paprika, kosher salt, and ground black pepper. But pay attention to these half-teaspoon additions: dried thyme, mustard powder, granulated sugar, and crucially, citric acid. I mean, who would have thought, right? That citric acid is the secret weapon here. It provides this unexpected bright tang that cuts straight through the richness of the dairy.
Putting this dry master mix together honestly couldn't be easier. You literally just combine all 12 of those ingredients into a small bowl and whisk or stir them until they're totally evenly mixed. But what makes this so incredibly efficient for us at home is the storage. You can keep this dry blend in an airtight container in a cool, dry place for up to 6 months. Think about that. You do the work once and you have half a year's worth of instant flavor enhancement just sitting right there in your pantry.
Let's move on to Section 3, crafting the cowboy butter.
Before we get our hands dirty with the mixing, let's contrast the 2 diverging culinary paths we can take with this dry seasoning. So for the classic cowboy butter, you'll utilize 1 stick that's half a cup or 113 grams of softened, unsalted butter. Or if you go the cowboy cream cheese route, you're using 1 standard 8-ounce block of softened cream cheese. The real beauty of this whole system is that regardless of which rich dairy base you choose to elevate, both applications require exactly 2 tablespoons of our master seasoning mix. Super simple to remember.
So let's look at the process for the butter. In a medium bowl, you add that softened stick of butter and your 2 tablespoons of seasoning. You just use a silicone spatula or a spoon to mix it until it's fully combined. Then comes the fun tactile part. You transfer this mixture onto a piece of parchment paper or plastic wrap, shape it into a neat little log, roll it up nice and tight, and twist the ends to seal it, kind of like a vintage piece of candy. Then comes the agonizing part. You have to put it in the refrigerator for about 1 hour until it is completely firm. That chill time is absolutely essential for the butter to reset its structure and for those dried herbs and spices to start hydrating and releasing all their amazing oils.
Which brings us to Section 4. Whipping up cowboy cream cheese.
Now for this application, you take a medium bowl and add your softened 8-ounce block of cream cheese along with 2 tablespoons of the cowboy butter seasoning. Now because cream cheese is a bit denser, it's highly recommended to use a hand mixer or a really sturdy spatula to blend it until it's perfectly smooth and fully combined. You then transfer that to a small bowl or ramekin and cover it up. What's fantastic about the cream cheese route is that the gratification is a little bit faster. You actually only need to refrigerate it for 30 minutes to let those flavors beautifully marry before it's ready to go.
And finally, the grand payoff. Section 5, serving, pairing, and storing.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how versatile these spreads really are.
Once your Cowboy butter log has firmed up, you can slice it and let it melt over a hot steak, fresh corn, roasted veggies, or just a warm piece of crusty bread. You can even melt it down entirely to use as a remarkably easy dipping sauce. On the other hand, the Cowboy cream cheese acts as this perfect, bold accompaniment for crackers, your morning bagels, or just as a savory spread on a lunch sandwich. The applications are incredibly varied, but that core flavor profile remains uniformly bold no matter what.
Well, we've deconstructed the spices, we've walked through the mixing process, and we've explored the rich dairy applications. So the question I want to leave you with today is this. How will you utilize your newly crafted Cowboy butter blend in your kitchen today? Are you going to melt it over a juicy steak, or maybe spread it onto a toasted bagel? With that 6-month shelf life on the dry blend, the possibilities are literally sitting right there in your pantry waiting for you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy cooking.